mechanics of taking the test, but the idea of taking it seriously to do well never sunk into me. Now, maybe it did to some other kids. And so when I got to college, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have good study habits. I didn't know what it meant to study. And I think my first semester in college, I had a B, a couple of C's, and a couple of D's or something like that. I mean, pretty lousy grades. But I began to look at it in different ways and how I could make the requirements fun or make it a game. And I began to see testing as a game to try to make it fun. And of course, some things were more fun than others, and I guess that's how you develop aptitudes and the things that you're good at as opposed to. But I think by the time I finished college, I had about a 3.2 on a 4-point scale, and I was a Dana Scholar and on the Dean's list at least some of the time. So I had, however smart I am, that's how smart I am. But the things that I learned at organic were, again, just looking at things in a different way. And I learned that about studying. I learned that about taking tests. I became quite adept at seeking out professors with whom I could relate. And I guess these are all skills that all college students develop. I just sort of came at them without the traditional background of taking tests and knowing how to do it. And then, but even as I went through college, I still did lousy on, for instance, the graduate record exam, which is what you take if you want to go to graduate school. And fortunately, I didn't. I was given a fellowship, and I would have unpacked my bags in Berkeley, California in the summer of 1967. And I'm sure if I had done that I would be either dead or barely alive somewhere on the West Coast or in some drug rehabilitation farm or something like that, because San Francisco, California, Berkeley, California in the summer of '67 was a wide open riot. I would have liked to have observed it, but I think it would have been disastrous to go to school there because I was fed up with school. I had not been in school all my life. Fortunately, went into the Peace Corps, went to East Africa, worked on a cotton project, was the only Southerner in the project, was the only person who'd ever seen cotton, knew what cotton looked like, enjoyed East Africa. I wasn't that crazy about the Peace Corps, but I came back and worked at a succession of jobs, the first of which was on the Penn Central Railroad in Boston, Massachusetts, and that was while I was assiduously trying to avoid a McNamara scholarship to Southeast Asia. And I was fortunate in avoiding the draft, and then came back to Fairhope and lived with my folks and worked on a tugboat for a while, and then worked offshore on oil rigs for several years. And then I lo and behold, took the LSAT exam, which is the entrance exam for law school. And before doing that, I got one of these how to score high books. And I'd get up every morning and drink a couple of cups of coffee and play these games. And I went through about 3 books. And when I went to take the LSAT, I did very, very well on it. You know, astounded myself, and went to University of Alabama Law School. And so I've been practicing law since 1976. And there are a lot of things that I learned in organic that helped me practice law. Relating to people, understanding people. Organic was absolutely classless when I went to school there. We had, and it emphasized that one of the things that I'm proudest of is that I graduated from high school at Organic with a student who would have not gotten past the 3rd or 4th grade in a conventional school system. But he graduated from Organic because he was an overachiever. He did better than any other student in our class with what he had, and was very limited. But he was there every day, trying very hard, interacting with all of the other students, was accepted by all the other students, and the idea that he would not have graduated would have broken my heart, and I know broken the hearts of all the other members of the class. And it was a melting pot, and people with sometimes extreme physical and mental limitations came to Organic, and were by and large, I don't mean totally, but by and large, accepted. And it was amazing the effect that would have on people. And it was amazing the effect that would have on us, the people who didn't have ordinary physical or mental or emotional limitations, because the sharing, the growing that we got out of it was probably far more than the sharing and the growing that the people got who had those limitations.
That's a beautiful point. I had a similar experience in our group.